Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me in another video. So as you can tell, based on this title, this is my video where I think minimalism fails. So if you haven't been following, I made a video like about a month ago on why I'm trying to practice luxury minimalism. This is my second time around attempting minimalism. As I mentioned in that video, just really briefly, I did minimalism in my early 20s, now I'm in my early 30s, and my 20s it was to cut down debt and just be more responsible, trying to figure out adulting, so to speak. Whereas now it's kind of like I'm still trying to figure out adulting, but now as a new mom, as well as buying a new house, there's just a lot of changes. So I felt like now is a good time to kind of go back to minimalism. And I think that's a really good approach in trying to cut back in ways that you think you probably need to improve. And with this new change, I felt minimalism would be like a perfect time to implement, so that way we don't go overboard. And we want to be smart with our money at the end of the day. But as I'm doing this minimalist thing with a kind of different approach, I'm kind of reminded and I kind of remember, oh yeah, you know what? I didn't really like that the first time around. And so I kind of want to talk about this as someone who's kind of taken two different approaches. So the first thing I want to talk about was how minimalism really doesn't allow for trial and error, which is something you kind of need to experience, especially if you're a mom or if you're, going through some major changes in your life. One very glaring example, as someone that went through pregnancy and has some issues with their skin, you're gonna have some skin discoloration, some melasma, stretch marks. There's a whole lot of stuff that is gonna happen to your skin. And a minimalist might say, well, just don't worry about it, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know, I kind of do feel like you're gonna experience some body dysmorphia. That's just the reality. You're gonna do what you can in certain areas. So that may be skincare, that may be going to a dermatologist, maybe you don't need to do much at all, maybe you're gonna do some preventative things. But you're gonna trial and error and see what works for you. And sometimes that's gonna require you to consume some things. In skincare, for instance, your skin is an ever-changing thing. You're not going to have the same skin you did have in your 20s. For me, I was fine with just using a cleanser maybe every now and then. And I don't even really think I was into multiple steps in my skincare routine when I was 22. So, but now, almost 10 years later, it's something I really need to consider. The second thing I want to talk about was minimalism really doesn't account for families, and I'm gonna say especially families with newborns, but I would say families in general. To me, this is a really big one, and I think when you look at a lot of the people that espouse, minimalism, people that practice minimalism, they're largely people that are young urban professionals, young men, I would largely say. It's not really targeted. Yes, there are some women that are minimalists. Yes, there are some minimalists that are moms, but the reality is with a kid, you're gonna be buying things and you're gonna have clutter in your life. You're gonna have toys on the floor. You're not gonna have this perfect, clean, white space. It's gonna get messy in your life. And if I was so obsessed with cleaning every little thing, obsessed with making my space look like the perfect clean area or zone, then I probably wouldn't even have time to actually spend with my kid, if I'm being real. Okay, the third thing I want to talk about, and this is something I do not as a minimalist, this is me being a hoarder, I guess, someone that is a shopper, and I like to bulk buy, and I like to seasonal buy. For instance, if diapers are on sale, or if, something I really like food, I really like to eat cashew cereal in the morning, things like that. If that goes on sale, I'm gonna buy it in bulk. I'm not going to just buy things as I need it, because to me, it's just smarter. And yes, it's gonna take up a little bit more space, but I'd rather just do that than having to make endless trips to the grocery store. And another thing I do is seasonal buy. For instance, sorry this is so much about my kid, but this was what really made me think, minimalism isn't working in this area. I like to buy clothes on sale when they can, clothes I'm gonna wear, or clothes for my son that are on sale, for instance, buying winter clothes during the springtime because they're already reduced in the clearance section, and kids don't really care what they're wearing, and you save a ton of money. Okay, and then the fourth point I wanted to make, and I think this is a really good point, because I think this is something I've realized is more important to me than minimalism. I would rather be good with money than be frugal. Someone that I think kind of exemplifies this mentality is Financial Diet on YouTube. And I think it's a really great channel because they really talk about financial tips for women as opposed to just kind of like, you know, generic financial tips. I just really appreciate that she gives you good financial tips. And to me, that's way more important. Like, it's ultimately better to be good with money and to understand, you know, how you can make money work for you as opposed to trying to like pinch every penny. She had this really good quote on her Instagram, and it was, your goal shouldn't be to spend $0. Instead, make every dollar go towards something more secure, intentional, and a better life. And to me, that's just more important to me than being a minimalist. Another problem I have with minimalism, and I know that some people say that this isn't, you know, what minimalism is about, and it's not, and I agree it's not, but so much of the minimalist culture is about numbers, and it's about like a numbers game, like having a 10-item capsule wardrobe, or owning only 100 things in your home, or, you know, things like that. And I just feel like it's just kind of like the opposite of like haul videos, where it's like, I spent, you know, $20,000 at Louis Vuitton, or, you know, a $100,000 handbag collection, things like that, where you have one extreme to the other. To me, it's just like, I don't think that's minimalism, and I will never have like a 10-item wardrobe. I don't even think I could have, like, if I'm being totally honest, right now in my life, you know, going through my transitioning body, I'm probably not going to ever even have like anything less than 100 items, and maybe even like less than 200. I don't know, like that's just me being totally honest when it comes to like fashion. My next point is, minimalism is really just another kind of product. It's just another kind of like self-help product, whether it's through those, you know, that book about tidying your life, or, you know, the famous Netflix movie where it's like two dudes, you know, trying to sell their latest film. Just be aware that like there are always going to be people trying to like make money off of like self-help. And my last point, and this to me is the most important point, minimalism is not going to make you happy. It's just not. So kind of bringing back that like point about self-help, happiness is something that is much deeper, comes from within, you know, all those cliche things, but like it really is. I was actually doing a meditation, and the meditation talked about happiness and how happiness is more of like it's like a state, but it's also like a situation you're in. I was doing this like guided meditation podcast, and how happiness is something situational, and like, yes, you can like declutter your life, you can, you know, strip everything in your house, you can have like 10 items, you can have a 10-item wardrobe. If you are not satisfied at work, if you are not satisfied with your home life, if you are not satisfied with your relationships, if you are not satisfied, you know, in other areas of your life, minimalism is not going to fix that. That's like more an issue with you. That's something you need to fix. That is my video on where minimalism falls short or fails. In conclusion, while I'm still practicing minimalism, I don't really feel comfortable labeling myself as a minimalist. I know there are areas in your life where it's going to be really valuable, like if you're trying to declutter after having a really bad spending habit, it's definitely beneficial. But just be aware that minimalism isn't going to solve everything. It may bring you a temporary moment of satisfaction, but it's not going to change the situation you are in, which is something you need to change yourself. So yeah, thank you for coming to my little TED Talk. Just kidding, but like, thank you so much for joining me in another video. Let me know if any of this resonated with you, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.